Methamphetamine. Meth is classified as a stimulant, but that word is too weak. Calling meth a stimulant is like calling a forest fire a heater. Here is the evolutionary hack. Your brain releases dopamine to reward you for survival, eating, mating, winning. Meth doesn't just release dopamine. It breaks the mechanism that reabsorbs it. Imagine a bathtub where you turn the faucet on full blast and then plug the drain. The brain is drowning in its own reward chemical. The onset is violent. Energy explodes. Hunger dies. Sleep becomes a joke. You feel powerful, unstoppable, like you have unlocked God mode. But biology always charges a tax. When the drug clears, the supply is gone. The come down isn't just sadness, it is the complete inability to feel joy. The world turns gray, and the brain learns a terrifying lesson. Nothing else will ever feel this good again. It's easy to look at meth and see a monster, but look at our world. We are obsessed with optimization, productivity, the need to always be on. I want to ask you a question. Is society quietly pushing us towards stimulants just to keep up with the impossible pace of modern life? Or is that just an excuse we tell ourselves? Pause and comment below. Is it the pressure or is it the pleasure? Let me know. Heroin. If meth is a fire, heroin is a warm blanket over a freezing body. It is an opioid. It binds to the receptors designed to manage pain. But it doesn't just block pain. It replaces it with nothingness. The onset feels like sinking. Stress dissolves. The body melts. The world slows to a halt. It feels like safety. It feels like a return to the womb. And that is the trap. Because the brain loves safety more than it loves the truth. When the drug fades, the body revolts. The nervous system screams. The come down isn't discomfort. It is pure biological suffering. Heroin doesn't ask to be enjoyed. It asks to be needed. Fentanyl. Fentanyl is the weaponized version of heroin. Designed for surgery, unleashed on the street. It is 50 to 100 times stronger. It doesn't leave room for mistakes. The onset is a heavy wave of detachment. But the line between high and dead is measured in micrograms. It shuts down the respiratory system so quietly you don't even know you've stopped breathing. It is the ultimate evolutionary hijack. It tricks the brain into feeling total peace while the body is literally dying. Barbiturates. The old guard. Before we had anxiety pills, we had these. They don't manage anxiety, they bludgeon it. They work by suppressing neural activity directly. The onset is heavy. Slurred speech. The world feels distant. But the margin of safety is razor thin. A little too much, and the brain forgets to tell the lungs to move. They don't solve the problem. They silence the machine. GHB. Before we break reality, we have to loosen it. GHB. Colorless, odorless. It slows the brain and the nervous system simultaneously. It's a liquid off switch for inhibition. Warmth spreads. Anxiety vanishes. The body feels loose. But the gap between relaxed and unconscious is terrifyingly small. It doesn't announce its arrival. It simply erases your awareness before you realize it's gone. LSD, acid. Now, we leave the physical world. LSD is measured in micrograms, millionths of a gram. But it rewrites the operating system of your consciousness. It binds to serotonin receptors and refuses to let go. The onset isn't a rush, it's an unraveling. Patterns shift. Colors breathe. The filter your brain uses to organize reality, dissolves. You don't just see things, you feel concepts, you taste colors. The boundary between you and the room disappears. For some, this is freedom. For others, it is a prison of an infinite loop. And unlike other drugs, you cannot step off the ride. You are strapped in until the chemistry decides you are done. Psilocybin, mushrooms. Nature's version. Once consumed, it converts to psilocin, a key that fits the lock of your perception. The onset feels organic. Senses sharpen. The ego softens. You feel connected to nature, to memory, to the ancient history of your own biology. It doesn't give you new thoughts. It forces you to look at the ones you've been hiding from. It's not an escape, it's a confrontation. There is a debate that has lasted for 60 years regarding these substances. One side says the hallucination is just noise, the brain misfiring, creating a beautiful delusion. The other side says the brain is a filter, and these drugs remove it, showing us a reality that is actually more real than our daily lives. Pause for a second. Which side are you on? Is the trip a delusion, or is it the truth? Type your answer below. I want to see where you stand. DMT. LSD is a long journey. DMT is a rocket launch. Smoked, it hits in seconds. There is no transition. One breath, and the physical world is gone. Replaced by geometry, by entities, by dimensions that defy language. It is the spirit molecule. Users describe total ego death, the complete annihilation of the self. It lasts minutes. It feels like centuries. It shows the brain how easily reality can be dismantled. And once seen, that knowledge never fully fades. Salvia. This is not a party drug. It is a dissociative hallucinogen, and it is violent. The onset is a snap. Reality doesn't melt, it shatters. You might feel folded into a couch, pulled sideways through time, turned into an object. There is no euphoria, just disorientation. It removes the narrator from your head, and for many, silence is the scariest sound of all. Ketamine, designed to numb pain and surgery, used to numb existence in life. It blocks glutamate, disconnecting the mind from the body's sensory inputs. The K-hole. You are floating, watching your life from a distance. You are a ghost in your own machine. It feels like a reset button. But repeated use doesn't just numb the pain, it numbs the meaning. It leaves the user drifting, untethered from the consequences of being alive. Dissociation is the ultimate escape, but it hits on a primal fear, the fear of forgetting who you are. If you had a button that let you pause your consciousness to simply stop existing for an hour with zero memory of it, would you press it? Yes or no? I'm genuinely curious how many of you would take that exit. PCP. The chaotic cousin of ketamine. It disrupts perception, pain signals, and impulse control all at once. You feel invincible because your brain has stopped processing the signals that tell you you're hurt. Paranoia spikes. Delusions form. It doesn't just alter reality. It erases the concept of consequence. Nitrous oxide. Short. Accessible. Dangerous. It disrupts communication between brain regions instantly. Sound distorts. Awareness fragments. It feels funny. Temporary. But repeated use starves the brain of oxygen. It erodes the nerves. It feels harmless. That is exactly why it destroys people who never saw it coming. Every drug in this story promises something real. Energy, relief, connection, meaning, escape, and every one of them delivers, briefly. But the brain is a ledger. It always balances the books. What feels profound can be chemical. What feels essential can be learned. What feels permanent is borrowed. These substances don't add new abilities to your mind. They override existing ones. And once the brain learns that override, it remembers. This isn't about judgment. It isn't about morality. It's about understanding the machine you live in. Because the most dangerous thing about these drugs isn't how they feel at the peak. It's how quietly they teach the brain to forget how to feel without them.